welcome to 19 O'Clock News, a Kodocha podcast. My name is Mahou Shoujo M, and this is my co-host,
Ari Chan, also known as That Kodocha Girl on YouTube.
And today we have a very special guest with us, a darling friend from the Discord server. It's your pal Jacob.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for joining us. We are thrilled that you are here.
I am thrilled to be here.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm really excited for this episode because we've been prepping for it for a while, and because it's a very broad topic and there's a lot to break down.
Who wants to tell everybody what the topic is?
I guess I will. So our topic today is the Kodocha anime and versus the manga. So differences and similarities between the two. So we'll get into different topics, things that we like about the anime that or anime only things, things that we think the manga did well, and other fun stuff.
I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really good episode. We've been we all kind of put together our list of just thoughts, feelings, impressions when considering this topic, and then kind of went through the list and pulled the things that all three of us kind of had noticed or clocked. But I'm excited to see kind of what all comes of this discussion. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been prepping for a while, and I hope I remember everything that I prepped for.
So first up on the list, we kind of wanted to just talk about the different feels of both the anime and the manga. Oh, and I will also preface this by saying we're really only talking about season 1, series 1 today, the first 51 episodes. Because season 2, technically wasn't supposed to come out for 4 more days, but a lot of people have gotten their copies early, which is
so
the
weird.
Best.
We've had it for 3 weeks already, and I'm almost done with it. It's still technically not out yet.
Yeah, I actually made a video, and it came out already. It's about the Blu-rays and how I feel like they're very, very important in the fandom. And in the video, I'm talking about it's coming out, at the end of the month, blah, blah, blah. And I just went ahead and released it anyway. Even though I had my Blu-ray and everyone else had their Blu-ray a week before, but it's okay, this video is so outdated already.
Oh my gosh, you guys should have seen, I made a content calendar for Daily Kodocha that was going to be all of May was basically going to be hype content basically for the Blu-ray release at the end of the month. I was going to spend a whole month just let's go season 2, everybody get ready. And then it showed up early and I was like, oh.
How many people got it early? It seemed like a lot of people in our Discord got it.
I think everybody that pre-ordered did. Pre-ordered back when the pre-order first opened, because I know a couple of folks, I think our pal Retro Nova, I think ordered it on the later end. I don't know if theirs got in yet.
Yeah, I was about to say, they just felt bad for delaying it so many times. They just gave it to us early.
I ain't even mad, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I guess they announced it for the first time, last July?
Yeah,
something
I think
like
it
that.
Was. Mm-hmm.
So July
I've been
2022.
waiting for a very long time. I've been on my seat just every single time they have a con or whatever.
Little discotheque day.
Yeah, when they have a Twitch stream up, I would always attend and I would always be let down.
Oh,
they do a great job. I'm just saying that I was just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long time because so September 2021 is when the first season 1 Blu-ray came out, and then they didn't say anything about season 2 for almost a year.
That was so stressful.
That was very, very stressful because I was don't get me wrong, I was thrilled to have anything just because the DVDs are so hard to track down, and I cried like a flippin' baby when they first announced that they were putting it out in the first place. But yeah, it was a tense year leading up to waiting for that season 2 announcement, and then they didn't say anything again for 6 months.
And that was another problem I had because for my channel, I cover so much and I like to keep myself, rewatching it, and because I notice new things every time. And I was actually going to rewatch series 2, but I was like, okay, well, I want to wait till the Blu-ray comes out because the subs will be better. And it was like I kept waiting, but I was like, I really want to watch this now because there's something I want to talk about on my channel that happens, and it's like, but I want to wait. It was like this weird back and forth in my head, and then finally we got the announcement for May, and I was like, okay, so I can kind of put a timeline for my video topics now, because so I can sit down and watch this over the summer and actually digest it and analyze it and have it go through my head, and have those proper subs, because the other subs are not very good.
That's the reason I stopped. I was watching it, I was rewatching it, and then like I got to series 2. I'm like, oh, I guess I have to watch the fan subs. And like, bless their hearts, they did their best, but like they've aged pretty not well. And so I'm like, I'll just wait.
Yeah, I kind of similar boat over here. I don't think I've made a real attempt to go through and watch season 2 since like maybe the first time I did, which would have been on YouTube in like 240p quality in the year 2006, split up into like 4 parts. Like, it's been a long time.
It's the most authentic way to watch it.
As our ancestors would have wanted us to.
Right.
As our forefathers. But yeah, so it's been really nice. I actually haven't watched very much of season 2 yet though, because I was traveling for a bit of this month and I didn't want to like start it and then the whole time I was on vacation wish that I was at home watching it.
I can tell you and everyone listening that it's amazing. It's made episodes and arcs that were previously unenjoyable for me enjoyable and comforting, and it's just fun. Like, it's just been really fun watching this season. I've really come around on the New York arc, but we'll save that for another episode.
How dare you?
Yeah, it's funny because like this was months ago, but on Daily Kodocha's Twitter, I was like, let's do a poll. Let's see what our most hated anime only arc is. And I was like, this is going to be easy. Everybody's going to pick Takeshi Gojo. And then New York art beat it. And I was like, shocking. Well, I was like, dang, guys, I thought we all agreed on one thing. And we don't, like apparently.
The Takeshi arc is like bad because it's problematic. I think like out of all the filler arcs, like if certain things were changed, it would probably be the best one. Like, maybe that's just me though.
That makes sense, because like I always say that like I wanted to like it so hard, but like they just made him so unlikable.
Yeah. Unlikable and creepy, and just, well, like other than him, I thought it was overall decent. Like I at least remember it. Like, I can't say the same about like the homeless arc.
Homeless arc is also one I really don't like. And then we sent like, I'm sorry, and you don't want to know why? Like, the main reason that I really dislike the homeless arc is because Shimura has to go somewhere else for like a few episodes, and then I get him. And for what? And for no reason.
Sadness for no reason.
Truly, at least in the manga, when Obana makes me sad, there's generally a purpose, a greater plot. But we're going to get into all of this when we go through our list, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Welcome to 19 o'clock news, Jacob. We get off topic and go out of order.
That's just fine with me.
Excellent. Thank you for sticking with us on this.
That's perfect for my ADHD brain.
Perfect. So kind of first thing we had talking that we wanted to touch base on was the feel of the anime and kind of how zany it is. Because it is a lot more hyperactive than its manga counterpart.
Yeah, the manga actually starts off pretty like tame compared to the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's maybe 1 or 2 pages dedicated to Sana getting ready for school, and there's some like goofy parts, but then there's like the anime that spends 4 minutes of them just like bouncing off the walls, like literally driving off the roads, and like, anyway.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I think it's interesting too, because especially in those early chapters, like I think Obana was definitely still figuring out like what kind of series she wanted it to be. And like from her author's notes, we can kind of get the feeling, you know, she was kind of toying with the drama versus the comedy. You know, she had talked about like Akito possibly bringing a real gun to school instead of a toy gun, about like Tsuyoshi maybe having like psychic ability. And so I think like by the time the anime rolled around, like the series was a bit more established in its comedic feel, even in the manga. And then of course they just took it, I think, a few steps further.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be wild though if Tsuyoshi had like psychic powers. They like actually stuck with that.
Oh my god, right? I think about this often. Like we touched on that in our last podcast episode. So yeah, I hear you. It is interesting to see those differences. And the pilot is, and we've talked about this before too, but just such a good like kickoff to a series. I think they did a really great job with that.
Yeah, I agree, because it sets up the tone very well. Like you said, Jacob, the beginning with the craziness of the morning and the car driving down the road, swerving and like bouncing and like almost running over pedestrians, and like of course we get introduced to Babbitt pretty early on. He tells us about Sana's Komaware theater, and we also get like I said, I think the first episode has one of the, if not the best cliffhangers in shoujo anime.
The paint.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the shooting the paint gun at Akito. Yeah,
that's so good.
And
I love
like,
that.
The ending music, like that's a staple for Kodocha. Just like the ending music, like lingering on for a moment before going to the actual credits.
Yes, I'm obsessed with that. It is my favorite thing. And I think each of the themes, the ending theme songs too, like are perfect for that. Those tense cliffhangers that the anime likes to do so much.
I have an unpopular opinion, so
lay it on us.
I love all popular opinions.
I don't think Daijobu is a good ending.
It's my least favorite of the three, but I still like it. But I hear you and respect you. That's
the second one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can see that, yeah.
Like, I will say it has been kind of, I don't say humorous, but especially just because Daijobu as a phrase just means like everything is okay, or like it's gonna be all right kind of thing. And ending any of the junior high arc episodes with Daijobu is just like, no, everything is not Daijobu.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean everything is going to be all right?
Actually, everything hurts. But I said we were going to stick to season 1, so I'm going to shut my mouth now. But yes, I really love Panic. It's, and honestly, when I read the manga, sometimes I can hear, like in those, like where those credits would theoretically roll as you're reading, like I hear the music.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And the score for the anime also is just, it's so freaking good. I'm very obsessed with the score.
Yeah, I actually, when I first watched it, like I wasn't a big fan of it first, but it took some time and it grew on me, because I'm not into that style of music that they use for some of the like the theme songs, like for the one that they use for Hayama or Sana's theme. Like it's just it's too, but the thing is it fits the feel of the show, because what I was going to say, it's too hyper for me. Like I'm more of a fan of like softer music, but over time I catch myself listening to it on YouTube, because it comforts me, I guess, because it makes me think of my favorite anime.
Yes, I completely hear you and agree. Yeah, like I sort of feel like if I had to pick a like national, like an anthem for Kodocha, like All Rise, stand for the Kodocha national anthem, it's gonna be probably Don't Cry for Me.
Oh yeah.
Or Always Be With You, depending on what season you're watching. It's the same song essentially. Because it feels so Kodocha to me, or it's become so synonymous to Kodocha with me in my brain.
And those are still the ending songs, right? Are we still talking about
those? No, we're talking about the orchestration now. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah. It's hard to describe them because I don't want to I'm not going to hum the orchestration today. That doesn't feel like the move, but oh no, never mind. I don't know how to convey that on a podcast, and I'm going to cut everything I just said. So
the song that I know by heart, like just from thinking about Kodocha music, is like the sad theme that comes on.
I think that's the one we're talking about, the The When You're Crying. That one? That one?
No lyrics. Like the one that just like comes on and is kind of like soft and
That could be Mama Loves Sana, or I think Don't Cry
I
for
almost
Me.
want to like mouth the tunes, but that would be
No,
embarrassing.
no, like you see, this is the like literally where I'm struggling right now.
Yeah,
And
I mean, there's the tune, and it you know, the tune of Always Be With You, which is in a lot of the background music. When you're crying, I will always be
Oh, that
with
one. Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you thinking
I think the
of?
slower version of that is the one I'm thinking of.
Don't worry, I've got all of the soundtracks on my phone, and I'm just gonna play it. Hold on, we're gonna do some copyright infringement today.
I'm gonna get in
Alrighty,
trouble.
so yeah, probably. I don't know actually.
I don't know. I use the Kodocha music in the background of my videos, and I have not been caught yet. So
So
yeah.
here's a fun fact. The opening theme song to 19 O'Clock News is actually a version of 19 O'Clock News that I imported into Audacity and stabbed several times with a knife so that it no longer technically resembles 19 O'Clock News. So okay, so it could be
Yeah, the slower version of that.
yeah, okay, so could be
I think it's called I'm in Blue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one. Either that or it like keeps there's yeah, that's it. That's it.
okay. I like this one a lot too. I also really like this one.
That's a great one.
This is Mama Loves Sana. I think that's a good one. These are all just from the first soundtrack, but they get remixed really hard, I feel like, in subsequent episodes and seasons on the other two soundtracks. They're so good. I'm obsessed. Kodocha music, best part of the anime for me anyway.
So speaking of the music, we get the addition in the anime of Sana singing and rapping.
That we do, which gives us
that's a really I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, it's fun because we get some very clever wordplay in both Japanese and English for the dub. And I don't know about the Spanish dub, but maybe.
Does anybody have a favorite Sana song?
There was one that was used on a Funimation commercial that I'll always have stuck in my head, like forever. It's the one where Akito and Mamie are like struggling to get along, and Sana sings like something about a tray, like Mamie and Akito have gone and spilt a tray. That one.
I don't remember that one. I am partial to Sana's sad songs that she plays on the piano nori nori thing. The kind of have an oompa vibe.
I think I like the one that she sings about the middle birthday when they're planning to have it on Christmas. That one's cute.
Oh, I love it. We love a middle birthday.
I think the addition of singing is like a really clever way to fill time when they need to, especially like in the 90s when they like were really strict with stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's something like the anime does, I think, a lot of those kind of bits, physical comedy, things with Babbitt and Zenjiro to take up that time, which I think is how we got 102 episodes. I think if you cut all of the Babbitt and Zenjiro bits and all of the Sana raps, it would probably be a 40 episode series.
Oh yeah.
But
definitely.
So that is one of the fun things. What are y'all's thoughts on Babbitt and Zenjiro? You guys already know what I'm gonna say, but what are y'all's thoughts?
So I like Babbitt for the most part. Like I said, I think sometimes they could tone him down, but that's more of a season 2 thing. I think he's like he'll always get a laugh out of me, especially like when we're introduced to like the different kinds of Babbitts throughout the series, like the American Babbitt. Every time American Babbitt comes on screen, I laugh like out loud. I don't know what it is, but like Chris Kasen's American like country southern accent for that character is just hilarious as someone who grew up around a lot of people who talked like that. But as for Zenjiro, I like him. I don't really dislike him or am a fan. I think it's cool that he's actually a real comedian in Japan. I think that's a nice, interesting little fact that I didn't know the first time I watched it. And then I started getting into the series and looking into different things. I was like, oh, he's a real guy. And he's still doing comedy to this day, I believe.
Oh, wow.
It's really fun. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, it's just, yeah, like that's impressive considering how old Kodocha is.
Yeah, it's fair. So it's turned, like, I guess it probably started airing 27 years ago-ish, because the last episode just turned 25 in March, which is pretty wild. But as far as the choice to, one, make the main actor on the Child's Toy TV show more of a character and making him Zenjiro specifically, I'm just like, if I could be like a fly on the wall who spoke Japanese to listen to those business meetings to like figure out like why that choice was made. Like, I wonder if they were like, oh, we need more eyes on the screen, like we need like the celebrity name to get people to watch, or was it just like this would be funny, or I don't know, can only speculate.
It's probably something like that, I imagine. I don't know the extent of his popularity in Japan, but I watched one of his semi-recent comedy shows, and he actually did it in English. So he has a YouTube channel, by the way, and this was on his YouTube channel. And I mean, his comedy is pretty tame. Like, I feel like all ages can enjoy it. So I imagine that they probably wanted a comedian that would be appropriate for an anime aimed at kids and teenagers.
I will say about Babbitt that I think I have a similar opinion about him as M. I struggle to find what his purpose is in the show. I mean, besides like comedic value, I guess.
You and me, Jacob. I feel like sometimes in the Discord server when we're like getting into these conversations, I'm like, it's you and me. Like, yeah. Everybody's like, I love Babbitt, and I'm just like, I hate Babbitt.
I'm like middle ground. Like, I've noticed there's not a lot of like middle ground people about Babbitt. Like, it's either you love him or you hate him, but there's me, and I'm like, well, I like him sometimes. But I always liked absurd, weird humor. So like the inclusion of Babbitt and just how weird it is to have this little creature flying around sometimes makes me laugh, because I don't know, random humor is my thing. Like, you could show me like a weird drawing of something that doesn't make any sense and I'll laugh at it. So that's why I tolerate Babbitt. But I feel like if I didn't have that kind of humor, I'd probably be in the I don't like Babbitt camp. But because I just think some of his bits are funny because they're so off the wall, I think that's why I feel the way I do about him.
I think you're right. Like, he is funny. I do agree with you there. It's just that I wish he wouldn't overextend his boundaries, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm clapping.
Especially like with dramatic moments. I remember specifically, I watched the first series like almost 2 years ago. Wow. Like, Akito's dad coughing up blood. And I'm like, oh man, this is really dramatic. Like, close up to Akito's face, Natsumi's face. Oh, Babbitt's there. Why is Babbitt there?
Yes. Or Babbitt, like, Sana and Misako are like having their heart to heart after, Misaka is like, Sana is my daughter. And then Babbitt is there also. Yeah. I feel like hate might be a strong word for me and Babbitt. But I'll put it this way. Like, I saw the anime before I read the manga, but when I read the manga, I didn't notice that he was gone, and I didn't miss him.
Same with Zenjiro, actually, too. I was surprised to learn that he wasn't in the manga, like, at all.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, too. But I will say, like, I did notice that Babbitt was gone from the manga. And that was kind of weird, honestly, when I first read it, but it didn't detract at all. But Zenjiro, like, being gone was surprising, but I was like, well, it's whatever.
Now, I will say the thing that I did notice was gone, and I was really surprised by when I did read the manga finally, was just the gadgets being gone. No Barucha, voice repeater, obviously none of the instruments. That was more surprising to me.
No, that was a change in the anime that I felt was the best.
Same.
Was the inclusion of all the little toys and gadgets, because you can make those in real life too and sell them. And I love collecting and looking at the merch. That's one of my favorite things about the series is the merch is very unique. My favorite piece of merch actually is the personality profiler, which we see pretty early on in the anime. So we usually see it being used by either Sana, Misako, or Rei. And I just love its inclusion, especially as someone who likes that kind of stuff like psychology and personality tests. So having it included in the anime is really fun. And I love when Misako uses it, especially because she like gets so into it and she's like always asking the different characters about like their favorite, what's your favorite food, and then you type it in and like it's supposed to tell you like what your personality is or what your deepest desire is. And I just think that's brilliant and hilarious.
Oh, agreed. It is extremely fun. And I love that like the toy of the personality assessment notebook actually exists. I very rarely see them, and when I do, they just want more money than I'm willing to spend.
I actually got my hands on one. That's one of the few gadgets that I have. I have that and the camera. I have the pink camera that you usually see in season 2. The purple one, there's a purple camera as well. That one's used more in season 1, which is the one that I really would like to get next if I get a new piece of merch anytime soon. But the personality profiler, the actual toy, it actually has a pretty big book, like there's a lot of pages in it about like, and they have so many different personalities and it tells you about each one. Mine actually works. However, I can't read Japanese, so I can't use it really. So
that was gonna be my next question. I was like, what language is it in?
Yeah. So I mean, like anyone who could speak or read Japanese would be able to use mine. I was actually surprised when I pulled it out of the box and it was working, but then I was like, oh, I can't read the book. Darn it. So Jacob, do you have a favorite gadget from the show?
I think just like the vibrator one. That just always makes things funnier. And I think it's just a really clever way to just, especially in an age with no cell phones, like just to communicate with each other. Like when you read the manga, like it's weird that they don't have them. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say about the gadgets.
Oh, that's definitely fair. I agree. I think the brooch is really fun. You know, what if a walkie-talkie was also a pager, was also, you know,
just everything in one.
Yeah, everything in one. So I guess on that note, that's kind of a lot of what we wanted to talk about with the zany feel of the anime. Are there any other closing thoughts to the vibe, or should we move on to the manga?
I just love the extra personality that it gives the anime. Like personally, when the anime follows the manga, like personally, I think it outclasses the manga a little bit, and that's the reason why. Yeah.
All right, Chen.
I definitely think I really like the artwork of the anime. I like how it's like this fine line between like just, I personally think the artwork of Kodocha it's beautiful in its own way, but it's also really cartoony. And that's why I like it so much, because I've never really seen another anime like it, like that's just got this beautiful prettiness to it, I guess you could say, but also maintains this wackiness and weirdness to it as well.
Yeah, that's fair. It's certainly, I think there's merit to a lot of what you guys are talking about. No secret here, I'm a manga fangirl and will be till I die.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah, same here.
Yeah,
like
at the end of the day, the manga is definitely my preference as well.
I do think that and I also have to credit the anime too, because the anime was what drew me in to the series as a whole. And I do think it's quite captivating in its own somewhat different way. And I love the episodes where you really get to see those favorite moments from the manga kind of get brought to life. I really love that. You know, all of the kisses, those are some really good episodes. I love what they do with those. And manga time?
Oh yeah.
Manga time.
All right. So I think like our general vibe when we're talking about like the anime, we're thinking zany. When we're thinking about the manga, it feels serious.
I'd say, yeah, it feels more serious. I wouldn't say it's like what's the word? It doesn't like get rid of that zaniness. It's still like goofy,
Yes.
but it's definitely a lot more like heavy on like serious subject matter.
Yeah, it's not over the top like the anime is. Like it
Yeah,
takes things for like the anime takes things from the manga and like just cranks them up to 11 basically.
yeah.
But we really don't get really, really serious moments until like volume 7.
I think it depends on what your definition of really serious is, because I mean, Fuyuki's hospital visit is a few volumes before that.
Yeah, that's volume 2. I'm actually rereading that one right now.
There we go. You know,
but I mean, like, I feel like we still have some comedy there. Like, it's still, you know, like we talked about, Obana is still in that phase where she's kind of figuring out where she wants the story to go. But I feel like by the time we hit volume 7 and 8, like, we get to some really, really scary moments. Like when I first read it, I was shocked by how intense it was for a shoujo series.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that, because it does get pretty real in the junior high years in the manga. And it's also interesting to me too, because kindly, you know, to the anime writing staff, I think Obana has perhaps a superior handle on how to write those dramatic scenes in a way that is very real. Whereas like the anime borders on soap opera for some of their for some of the dramatic moments, you know, like if we're talking about Takeshi Gojo, right? Like that's a freaking soap opera. Like,
I know, it's exhausting.
Yeah, like
Sana has
comedy.
like Sana has a weird relationship with an adult actor. But wait, he's her father. But wait, he's dying. But wait, he's dead. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's weird.
And that's just that arc. But do you guys kind of feel what I'm talking about? I feel like
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think she's amazing. She really understands the emotional capacity of teenagers and also parents as well, which I don't think she was a parent at that point in her life, but I know she's a mom now. I think she has a daughter.
Yes, her daughter is, I think, graduating high school either last year or this year.
Wait, Obana?
So yeah.
I thought she was like a grandma at this point. Like I thought I read that on the blog somewhere.
Ooh, well,
maybe I'm wrong.
She started writing Kodocha when she was like 22 or 23, I think. So, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I just misread something.
I don't know. I haven't read her blog in a while, so
I'd say that. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh no, literally nothing. By all means, continue.
I'd say that Obana is like a masterclass in like shoujo. I'd consider like volumes 5 to 10 like peak fiction. It's some of my favorite stuff. Like, and it really, really bothers me that the anime like covered maybe 15% of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
they like dumbed the whole, I can never remember his name. The kid that stabs Akito in the arm. They like made like a discount version of that at the end of the series, the anime. Like what?
Yeah. It also bothers me for season 2 as well. And again, I think that soap opera piece, I mean, like, talk about anime only arcs that drive me kind of nuts. Fuka's blindness is absolutely on that list. There's lots of ways we could have broken up Akito and Fuka, right? There's the way Obana did, and I think that worked fine. I don't think we needed an injury. That was a lot. But I said we weren't going to talk about season 2 today. So
talking about season 2 though, I feel like the New York arc probably declined the views a little bit, and that's probably why we didn't get, like, that's just a guess just based off of what I watched like last week, but like I can't imagine like having this like roller coaster of emotions from like the first 15 episodes of the second series and then just stopping completely to go to New York. Like they waited 20 weeks for things to go back on track.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think that's something that, especially in our current, binge watch, binge read society that we forget, is that these episodes were seen once a week.
Yeah.
And same with like in the manga chapter, that's, there's a month, there's 30 days between each manga chapter release. So it's not like you're able to see like, and yeah, it's pretty wild when you think about that. Like I can just zip through volume 8 and, can do it in an afternoon and not be that stressed about it, I guess. But like, imagine being like a Reborn subscriber in the 90s and just like the endless suffering of not knowing what's going on, right? But yes, I think the New York arc theory is probably a pretty credible one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, based on nothing, but just
it's a vibe.
Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about like the first 51 episodes, right? Sorry about that.
We sure are. No, it's me. I did it. I was like, let's talk about Fuka's blindness. Let's talk about a character that hasn't been introduced yet, and that's on me. But yes, so more serious feel of the manga. Obana is just really, really kick-ass at writing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is an unpopular opinion. I don't know if you guys have experienced this at all in your personal life, but I have a lot of friends who they like anime and manga, but they don't really like reading manga. And I quote, because there's no color, which really just makes me want to put my head through a wall.
Bro, what?
I know.
That's weird.
It makes me bananas. And they're like, I prefer American graphic novels because they're colored. I'm like, yeah, but they're like pick up a DC comic kindly. It's not going to be as detailed. Like, yeah, sure, it's colored, but like you're losing detail. Like, I don't know, makes me nuts. And I really love, I think, how detailed, Obana's artwork is. I love the clothes. I love the different hairstyles. I love how much she loves drawing backgrounds. She says in an author panel later on in the series that she has to start letting her assistants do that, and it makes her sad. But I think in those early volumes, it was just her and her sister. So that's all her.
Mm-hmm. And I love how she's so good at like drawing facial expressions and it allows the characters to say so much without saying anything at all, especially with Akito.
Yes.
Like I love the anime or the manga over the anime is like the anime like nails the over the top facial expressions, but they don't have the subtlety of the manga. Like Akito has one face in the anime, but like in the manga you can like see all the subtlety, and I don't know. I just really love that about the manga.
Oh, you're so right, especially with Akito, because it's even just in how she draws the eyes, like just how much detail goes into the eyes, I think can give you a lot of, it just really shows kind of what the characters are feeling. And she mentions in an author panel also just that like his eyebrows are so hard to get right in the correct angle because but they really do impact so much of his face.
When you're talking about clothes too, I'm really impressed. Maybe I'm just like too used to like shonen manga and anime where like the protagonist wears like one outfit throughout the entire series, but like especially throughout the first 4 volumes, it's really amazing seeing all the characters wearing different things like every day. Like as simple as that sounds, it adds a lot.
Oh, you're totally right.
I was watching one of the interviews with the director of the anime, and he actually talks about how in the beginning that they tried to have Sana in the different outfit and try to have a variety like the manga. And he said that the anime team was like getting tired by the midway point of the anime, like drawing all these different outfits. So you can actually notice like it's somewhere around the Takeshi arc or the homeless arc when she's just wearing her pink Sana shirt most of the time, and there's not really a variety of outfits anymore at that point.
Yeah, I'd say it even like comes before that. I was scanning like rewatching some of the episodes, and I think it starts at like episode like 25, 26, like Sana's pink outfit, Akito's white striped outfit, like you like basically when the one-off filler episodes starts. Like, but I guess I can sympathize with them. Like drawing one outfit for one character is like easy, I guess, but
yeah, and especially if they were tight on trying to get these episodes out, in a timely fashion. It takes a lot of time to draw an intricate outfit.
Well, it's also the Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo thing. Like it's so that they can reuse footage episode to episodes. They're not animating from scratch. so it doesn't impact continuity.
I have noticed that a few times. I can't pinpoint an exact episode, but I know there's a couple times when like they'll show a shot of like Sana being dramatic or crying or something, and it'll be a shot that was in a previous episode.
Mm-hmm. And like the songs, that's always a lot of reused footage. I mean, the waking up in the morning, like they do a bit of that, and I get it, like, especially at that time, it was a very unforgiving production schedule for a lot of animes in the 90s. And they would essentially, like, they would rush to kind of get out the episode just so that it could be televised. And then they would go back and clean it up for the home release. But like for 102 episodes, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, they kind of turned that up to 11 in the second series. Sorry to bring it up again, but like in the New York arc specifically, like I think I counted like 13 or 14 times where they started like dancing for the Broadway thing, and like Babbitt's counting song, like that happened 19 times. I'm like,
oh man,
like it just I don't know.
that is the one Babbitt thing I don't like. I can't stand the Babbitt counting song.
It's my least favorite also.
At least in the first series, it isn't as bad as that.
No, yeah, it's
so unnecessary.
Ari and I were offlining about this earlier. We were talking about just series 2 generally, and just kind of appreciating it for what it is, and I'm kind of like, these are production decisions that were made when I was barely conscious. Like, why am I getting worked up? What are you gonna do? Is what it is.
Right,
oh man.
So back to the manga.
Back to the manga.
Right, yeah.
So what is everybody's favorite manga only moment or event?
Ooh, from the elementary school years?
Yeah, let's go with that.
And that's hard because I've been only watching the second series, but
same. I've got junior high on the brain.
Yeah, admittedly, so do I.
I'm like, I'm thinking
maybe honestly, that should be the next podcast episode, is that just cover that in its entirety.
Seriously. I know that this is silly and it's not a manga only moment necessarily, but I really like the Christmas Eve kiss art in the manga a lot better. I don't know. The Christmas Eve moment in the anime makes me a little bit crazy because it's Sana wearing her Sana shirt and Akito wearing just like his long sleeve white shirt that he always wears, and they're outside and it's snowing, and I'm like, where are your jackets? And because like there's a few instances in the series where they're just like out and it's snowing and they're not dressed appropriately. And then also I like that she has her eyes closed in the manga for the Christmas Eve kiss. I think it's sweet, but that's just off the top of my head. I'm not keep thinking for a manga only moment.
Yeah, I think I prefer that too, because it feels more romantic too.
Yes, agreed. And that's why I'm here.
Yes. Same here.
Romance. Sana's dogs.
Yeah, I love her dogs.
Right.
The people who don't make it into the anime, bless their hearts, however many of them there are.
There was a one-off recently with those dogs, weren't there?
Yeah, 2015 or 16.
Yeah, it was called Days Without Anything.
Yeah, it was 40th anniversary of Reborn or 35th. I don't remember. It was for a Reborn anniversary. I feel like 90% sure that is accurate. But yes, love the dogs. That's a good manga only moment.
When I was going through volume 2 today, I noticed that that scene when Sana discovers that Rei is not her real boyfriend, and Misako tells her that she just treats him like her favorite toy, and she runs off, and she runs into Akito and they have that conversation, like they're sitting on that bench and they're talking, and she asks him why he kissed her on the field trip. And then in the anime they have that silly moment when she pulls out the dummy and she's like, why don't you kiss this? But
that was a pretty funny moment though.
I know, I love that. In the manga, she has her dog there and she's like, here, why don't you kiss the dog?
Like, do you hate this dog? No, then kiss it.
Yeah.
God,
it's great.
I will say that I think we've kind of already touched on this, but like the art really does a lot for me in the manga. Like more powerful moments in the manga that were both in the anime and the manga are more powerful in the manga, just because I think the art is like so detailed. Like, I don't know. I read Kodocha today, and it shocks me that this came out 30 years ago. Like this is something that could have come out like yesterday, and I would believe you. You know.
It's definitely timeless, I think, and that's the mark of a good story.
Yeah, I completely agree. Definitely timeless in the sense, I don't know. I do think that, and we've had this conversation before, but like it feels 90s in a sense, but I do think that a lot of that has to do with the technology and some of the circumstances in the manga. But I do think like you could take the plot and the characters and plop them in 2023. And I don't think that they'd have to make a lot of changes for that to be something that people would still connect with.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, somebody just needs to pick it up and they'll have a hit on their hands.
I agree. I feel like it could be really successful, like Fruits Basket 2019 successful, but we just got to keep on pushing until it happens, which I think it will one day. It might take eventually. A long time. Yeah.
I dreamed a dream. Yeah. Oh man. On the note of can we dive into characterization differences?
Oh yeah.
A little bit. I want to talk about Hayama's mom, Sweet Koharu, who they just made her such a like mom. I feel like in the anime, they're just like, this is a mom that loves snacks and is a little like Sana. But actually, this woman was in a gang, and I want that version.
Yeah, I always forget about that.
I want Yankee Koharu Hayama. It's what I want.
I actually read chapter 37 today just to like catch up with it. Are there any other moments that like talk about Akito's mom besides that? Because like Akito kind of implies like, oh, is she a delinquent kind of thing? But
there is a panel in I think it's in volume 9 when Fuyuki is talking about or is moving them to LA, and he pulls out a photo of Koharu and she's like doing a delinquent pose, and the caption on it is this the only photo you have? So like, yes, it is like vaguely referenced again. And then I do also love when Akito comes home from the hospital and Natsumi is shattered by the knowledge that her mom wasn't as sweet and kind and gentle as she had remembered.
I bet she would have been a really interesting character, because I just get the sense that she has this duality to her that would have been interesting to unpack. Like Obana could have written like one of her side stories at the end of the volume about her and like maybe her experience being a delinquent but also being like a sweetheart at the same time. I think that would have been interesting.
Oh, for sure. I think like honestly, in some ways she might have been like Kyoko from Fruits Basket kind of energy, while we're mentioning Fruits Basket, as we are contractually obligated to do at least once a podcast episode.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because the whole time we've been having this discussion, that's who I've been thinking of too.
Yeah, I like to hypothesize about, I don't know, how different do we think like Akito would have been if his mom had not died,
Yeah, I feel like he probably would have been maybe not super outgoing. I feel like he's just an introvert by nature, but I think he would have been more, I feel like he would have felt more comfortable in his own skin and more comfortable around other people and not as brooding and serious as he is in the series. I get that feeling that he'd have more confidence.
Yeah, I think like his mom is the reason why his family called him like a devil, right? Like he literally grew up thinking that he was some kind of like demon because he killed because like he like his mother died giving birth to him. I didn't want to like say that in like a dumb way, but I think it's interesting though that like Akito's mom is more like him than we thought.
Yes. I like that too, because it's I don't know, I kind of hypothesize, like I do think that he would be maybe a little less twisted in some ways, but like Natsumi, mother or not, is still a very intense person. And I do think that they probably would not have gotten along super well. I do think Fuyuki definitely would have taken probably a back seat to trying to manage that situation as a parent. And yeah, I don't know how different that would have been. Or if, Koharu being the delinquent that she is, would have been like, okay, so we settle this with a fist fight. I don't know. I'm just
yeah.
How different would it be? Probably pretty different, but it's something fun to think about. Other characterization differences, unless you guys have anything else you want to say on Koharu.
I don't have anything.
Nope.
Okay, then I would get into Tsuyoshi's dad, Mr. Oki, who gets a lot more screen time in the anime than he does in the manga.
Which I actually like. I liked that.
Yeah?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I think you were going to say something else.
Oh, no. I mean, nothing crazy other than just like mentioning that he gets a filler episode later on in the series, which to me, I don't know. I kind of feel like they did him dirty a little bit. Like he was obviously like a bad guy. They were like, prison for you. Whereas I don't feel like the way like in the manga, who he was pointed that direction. He was just like a shitty dad and a shitty guy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think the anime did a pretty good job on that regard, actually. I think giving him like some humanity, like even though like he's an awful person, like it just makes it more like relatable.
Gonna say it feels more realistic, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you guys for episode like 13 that they added to his humanity, and I think that's a good thing. The filler episode later is mostly what I mean.
I don't remember that episode super well.
That was the one where he went to jail because what did he do? He beat up like some guys or something on the street.
Yes.
And we found out at the end of the episode that it was like for a good reason. Like they were like, weren't these guys like robbing children or I can't remember the details, but I remember enjoying the episode. I felt like we got I always enjoy a good Tsuyoshi episode where we learn more about him and his life, and it had some pretty funny moments in it too, if I recall.
I might need to recant my statement because I didn't remember there being a reason for his meltdown and subsequent incarceration.
Oh yeah, I remember it now because he freaked out. He had the Tsuyoshi freak out on these guys because the children reminded him of his son and daughter.
There we go. So okay, I might have to walk that statement back then, because I didn't remember that piece of the episode. I was just like, oh man, I don't know. It felt like it was opening if you don't have that piece of context, it's like, wow, so they just like made him that guy. Cool. So okay, I'll walk that back. The other thing we have for characterization differences in this segment is really getting into Takeshi Gojo, who we've already touched on a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because we talk about it. We've talked about it before on the podcast on my channel, and it's like I don't think anyone really wants to delve any deeper into it.
The only thing I don't know about Takeshi Gojo at this point is Jacob's thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I just hate him as a character. just thinking about like what he did in the past and like the creepy things he's doing now, I'm just like you can make this like the most well-written character ever and I'd hate him. I don't know why they made him like this. Yes.
I agree. It's such a mess of an arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about him in the manga is that he's dead, so I'm just like, oh, okay. That's fine with me.
And he was dead in the anime too, remember? Like she said that.
Yeah.
And then
did they say that in the anime?
Yeah,
they did. And
I guess they just like
they retcon that.
Yeah.
They did.
Like,
well, it's truly. Well, especially because those first like near 20-ish episodes of the series are pretty
like a faithful adaptation.
Thank you. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. Yes, those first few episodes I think are pretty faithful adaptations, and I think that in that sense, like they took exactly what she had said in that manga chapter and put it in the episode and then made another choice later. But it's also one of those things where like I don't know, especially at that stage, like really where home video was at, if they really expected that people were going to notice that, remember it in the week-to-week hustle and bustle. That Keiko thought he was dead, or having watched these episodes relatively recently for Ari's channel. Don't they say Takeshi like make Keiko think he was dead? Did I make that up in my brain?
I don't think so. Maybe. I can't remember.
I don't remember. And I'm not going to rewatch it to find out. So
no, me neither. I'm probably never going to watch that again.
It's a mystery. Okay, well, I think that's all we've got for characterization differences, unless there's anything you guys want to add to that section.
I don't think so.
I do have one thing. I like the changes they made in the anime for Misako. I liked how they made her a lot more crazy, and she gets a lot more screen time.
Yes.
Because in the manga, like, she really doesn't like have a lot of, I guess, scenes. She's still weird, of course, you know, she has her crazy hats and Maro, but like she's just kind of there sometimes, I've noticed, and like she has more of a presence in the anime.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The only thing I would add is just like I feel like in the latter volumes of the manga, she is significantly more present. You know, with her the interest she develops in, you know, Mrs. Komori and everything that goes on with the doll syndrome and all of that. I feel like she gets her screen time at the end.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. They really did expand on the zany with Misako in the anime for sure. Next on our list was talking about just one-off filler episodes. You know, starting with just like episodes that we like, that we feel add to the world of Kodocha.
Yeah, so I actually have a list of some of the filler episodes that I really enjoyed, that I felt added to the world of Kodocha. So, of course, two of the episodes are some that we actually already talked about. So episode 28, the romantic love song of Mr. Hayama. That is one of my favorite episodes. And we get a little bit more about Koharu, and we get some fun moments of Fuyuki, and just the mystery of like, who's this woman he's seeing and what's going on. And I just thought it was really funny. But we also got some more insights into Akito's mom and the family and what they, and their traditions of going to the grave site.
Yeah, I love that episode too. Mostly because I love the scene where Fuyuki raps with Sana. That is just chef's kiss, one of my favorite anime only moments.
Yeah, I take that back. I like the middle birthday rap, but I think that one actually might be my favorite, like in the whole series, because of just how weird it is, because you don't expect it.
It's just the best. And
you're talking about like at the end of the episode with Akito's dad?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I watched that part specifically before the recording, so
it's so good.
The English dub is my favorite with that, because I love the part at the end where he's like, why am I up here singing all alone?
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love that episode. Jacob, what filler do you feel adds to the world?
Let's see. I think, like, I already mentioned this one, but I think I really like the Mamie and Akito episode.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the only filler episodes that I like remember. Like,
Fair.
It's really difficult for me to like remember what's going on when like I was so intensely like focused on like the story beforehand and like, oh, now we're doing a quiz show. That's nice. But
yes.
Like, but yeah, the Mamie one, like I kind of wish they made that longer. Like they scratched the surface on like her character and like Akito feeling bad for the things that he did. And like I like it for that, but I kind of wish they maybe made it a couple more episodes to expand on that.
Yeah, that would have been a really great candidate for like a slightly longer arc, I think, where they really could have dived into that. Because I do think like it's not referenced in so many words in the manga, but I do think that that's like whenever Akito's like, you know, all of the horrible things I've done, I'm pretty sure that's high up on the list. Of his stuff. That one was definitely on my list too for filler that I really feel like adds to the world and to the characters. Really great episode. And then my other ones, I think Gomi's episode 44, Gomi, Where Are You Going, is a really great episode. just getting to know Gomi as a character better and getting to understand more about him and the pressures that he faced at home and why he was kind of cutting loose at school. I think they did a really nice job with that one too.
I think it would have been fun if, like, because when I first watched that, you know, I watched the anime first and I got to those episodes, like, I actually thought that he was going to become a more, not a main character, but a more prevalent character after that. And then he just kind of faded, which I was very disappointed about, because I thought that he could have, like, become closer friends with, like, Akito or maybe Tsuyoshi, and they could have been like the Three Musketeers, and it would have been like really fun and added to the antics of the boys in junior high. But nope, he just ends up coming to school with a shaved head, and like I feel like that's the extent of Gomi.
Yeah, he's the punchline for the haircut joke, and then we never see him again, essentially. Which
same with Mamie too.
Yes, fair. I would say I know this comes up a lot, especially on the Discord, where people really don't like that those elementary school characters kind of go away in middle school, but like on some levels, you get put in separate classes and you do there. I think there is a natural drift there for people that you weren't like super close with. And so to me, I can justify it making sense. You know, those characters kind of fading into the background, and then we get new characters, like obviously Fuka and Yunshi, who's and Ishida. I don't think, I'm still early in season 2. Does Yunshi make it into the anime at all? Akito's little friend in their class, and him and Tsuyoshi and Aya's class?
No, I don't think he's in it.
Poor Yuji.
It's possible though. Like, I feel like maybe towards the end he might be there.
Okay.
I don't know. Jacob, have you noticed that? Because I know you said you're getting towards the end of series 2.
I think he's there, like the awkward kid, like not the one that, like, spoilers, like stabs Akito, but the one that's like awkward.
Now Yunchi is just like, I don't know, he's kind of a girl obsessed like bro type in Akito and Tsuyoshi's class, and he's like very obsessed with the fact that Akito has a girlfriend, and he's pictured visiting Akito in the hospital and stuff, and later in the series. But yes, so on the note of Gomi and Mami, I do think I can justify their moving on past middle school, and maybe they all come back together in high school. Who knows? Sometimes that happens too.
Kind of a side note, something I forgot to mention is that episode 25, the one with Mimi and Akito, has like one of my favorite unintentionally funny scenes of the whole anime. Like, they were dressed up in bunny suits and like trying to cheer up Mimi, I guess, and then Akito just gets like really sad in the bunny suit, and it's just like the fun, like unintentionally the funniest thing ever.
I was hoping you were going to bring that up, because I love that moment, and they play like the serious music while it's like, which like adds to the absurdity of it, which is great.
Just kicking the wall in that bunny suit.
Other filler that I think adds to the world is I love the Pyoko is a rooster episode. Every chicken has its day.
Oh yeah, so I know we haven't gotten there yet, but we plan on discussing the favorite filler episodes eventually in the podcast today. But honestly, that might be my favorite, just because it's so ridiculous.
Oh, it's so good.
I love the part when she brings the chicken on to Child's Toy, and like they have that like zooming in shot where his like mouth is open. And like Zenjiro's like, I don't like the way he's looking at me. Also, we have one of the greatest overreactions to the chicken crowing in the backyard when it's like the second time that they're woken up, and Misako grabs a knife and she's running and she's like, all chickens must die. It's great.
Oh man.
One character with like the glasses that's like ripped straight from Sailor Moon.
Yes. Oh my gosh. For real. Honestly,
that guy was really annoying though.
Yeah, for real. And I'm gonna say, speaking of like things ripped directly from Sailor Moon, observed yesterday when watching episode 53, and they have Sengoku Sensei live in Technicolor for the first time, and I was like, what is up with his Mamoru Chiba green blazer and black turtleneck? Like, why is he wearing The tuxedo mask uniform. Explain it to me. Was that just truly like what? Anyway, well, on that note, the last stuff we wanted to cover was just kind of those for fun questions, everybody answering, what is your favorite anime only edition?
That is easy for me. And I think you could probably tell by how excited I was when we talked about it earlier. It's definitely the gadgets. I love the Barucha and the personality profile and the camera and just everything. It's so much fun, and it just really adds to the world, and I love it.
I like it. Jacob?
Yeah, mine's like more broad. We talked about it before, but I just really like the personality that like the anime gives the source material, like the extra lines and just over exaggerated nature of it.
Yeah. That's a really good one too. I think for me, it's probably just additional time with characters that we don't always get to see a lot of. Like I love the Hayama family. I love Fuyuki so much that it doesn't even make sense. And I'm fond of Natsumi in my own way too. And so it's kind of fun to get to see a little bit more of those characters. Tsuyoshi's little sister is another great example of that. Another character I love that we get to spend more time with in the anime just because we have more time.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a really good filler episode in series 2 about Natsumi and like a boyfriend that she has. It's kind of a jerk. I really like that episode.
I'm ready.
Oh yeah, that was like episode 98, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's up there.
So, yeah.
I love you're like, yes, that's episode 98. I'm like, let's go. You know it. Okay. So next question would be, what is your least favorite anime only arc / filler episode? And I will limit us to season 1. That way we can't all just say New York arc.
Fair enough.
Okay, so Jacob, do you want to go first?
Yeah, is it okay if I pick 2 episodes?
Always.
Okay, so I really don't like episode 23, like the one where they're looking for Sana's biological little sister. Just because I feel like it kind of undermines the entire message of the arc where like she meets her birth mother. Like at the end, she's like, okay, goodbye forever. Like, I like my little sister, but like not as a little sister, but just as a kid that I would play with, like whatever. And then the start of that episode happens is like, oh, hey, I'm just going to announce on TV my little sister, whom I love so much. It's like, I don't know. There's just a lot of contradictory things that I don't like about the episode. Like, I feel like she literally said like, okay, goodbye forever. Like realistically, I guess you could run into them like on accident, but like this is like story. This is a story. Like have it be more impactful. Like goodbye forever. What was her name? Like Keiko?
Keiko.
Yeah.
Keiko.
Like goodbye forever, Keiko. Just kidding. 3 episodes later, I'm like, I don't know. It really bothers me.
I actually feel similarly. I wouldn't say I hate the episode, but I get what you're saying about like it undermines the impact of that moment when she's standing there crying and basically saying like, I can't be your daughter. I can't go and live with you. And then it's like, oh, here we are, like just kind of we're gonna save little sister. Where is she? And like, I don't know. And I felt like the funny moments in it weren't justifiable. Like it wasn't like they had those funny interactions with Zenjiro and her sister, which I think her name was Mariko.
Yes.
And it just was like, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah. Well, my other thing too is, and this is something that the anime is guilty of a decent amount, is where like the manga has established something about the character and how they would respond in any given situation. And then the anime goes, no, I don't want to do that. And then the character is out of character. And I think that Sana is not in character in that episode.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just kind of like a mess. Like you just, like unintentionally too. I feel like they just needed to fill up some kind of, like they needed to fill times. Like, hey, they just didn't think about it, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't, like in the kindest way possible. I think that production schedule being as unforgiving as it was, I don't think that they were able to really take the time to do the deep character analysis work to really create filler that would go with the series, if that makes sense. But what was your other episode?
So episode 35. Like, it's the one where like some of the boys are playing a prank on Tsuyoshi by giving him a gift, and he's like, oh no, I'm falling in love with this person that I don't even know because they gave me a gift. Like, I remember you guys saying in a previous podcast that like if Sana and Akito like were actually real people, that maybe their relationship would kind of be toxic. Like, this episode takes the cake for like Tsuyoshi and Aya.
Yeah.
Because like Aya's solution, like, oh, I'll just give you more gifts, like whatever. It's just it's cool, like whatever. It's like, you can fall in love with as many girls as possible. I'll just give you cookies. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's like an awful moral.
Yeah, it is. Like I never really gave too much thought. Honestly, I kind of forgot about that episode. I don't really think about it too much, but you're right. That's not a really good message to teach to girls.
Yeah, I'll agree with that too. That one's a yikes one. For me, my like least favorite, I mean, you guys already know I do not care for Takeshi Gojo or the homeless arc. Those are two of my least favorite. And I don't like the like clip show episodes, like where they're just like recapping what's happened so far. Episodes 20 and 51. Yeah. I'm like, I'm tired. Please stop.
Like, the literally quiz just show, skip those episodes.
The quiz show, like that was the only one like that's passable for me, because like I felt like they did it in a unique way that like made me laugh, because like I love how Akito just like gets every single one right, and like everyone else is just like really stupid about it. Like I like that little touch, that detail there. But the other clip show episodes, yeah, I take them or leave them.
Yeah, but I think for me, my biggest, like, I will skip this episode because it does not bring me joy and actually makes me kind of irate, is episode 31, the Snake Reporter episode. I don't even have a good reason for it. Like, it all is happy in the end. I'm just like irritated through it. It does not. It's just one of those words where I'm like weirdly stressed. I don't think this is that funny, and I didn't love the resolution. And then also like the Snake Reporter being so present in the Takeshi Gojo arc for reasons unclear to me. It's just like, why are you here? I don't like you.
Yeah, I'm glad he goes away after that whole thing. I didn't hate him, but like he felt so unnecessary, and there was just nothing really interesting about him.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about those episodes, so
good.
Yeah. Like gives you. But Obana made like an appearance on some of those episodes, right? Did she voice herself, or was that like
I've never been able to find that out. Else? I can't find I've never found a credit for it to know for sure.
I wonder if it's in the new Blu-ray, the credit for that.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
That's a good point.
So least favorite anime arc, if we're talking about series 1. I think everybody knows this. Takeshi Gojo. It's just like, why is this a thing? Nice. Like it could have been, they could have made it interesting, but they made it weird and awkward. And
yeah.
So enough about that. Least favorite filler episode, without a doubt, goes to episode 39. So this is the episode where it's like a half, it's like 2 15-minute episodes in one. So we get the Hayama moth.
Those ones.
And then the last section is like they're cavemen and women, and they're like running around and like they're speaking like ooga booga ooga. Oh, I hate this episode so much. It's not funny. It's so annoying. I honestly, I don't know. Like I'd watch a Takeshi Gojo episode over that. At least I get the normal Kodocha feeling from those episodes. The drama with that, it's just like, why? This is so obnoxious. This is like Coco Melon. Like what is this?
That is a heck of a statement. I think you have definitely conveyed your hatred of this episode.
You're not like it in the manga either, the Hayama moth one?
Well, in the manga, it's just like a one-off thing. Like it's kind of cute in that sense, because it's like at the very end of like volume 1 or 2. So it's like, okay, it's cute. It's like a dream she had, I think. And then in the manga or in the anime, it's like not really explained. Like it's not even explained that it's her dream. It's just kind of there, and it's just like, this is not funny. This is dumb. I know it's called child's toy if you break down what it means in English, but this is so childish to the point where it's stupid.
You said it. I'm not a huge fan of that one either.
Yeah.
Also, it comes after the Christmas Kiss episode, which makes it worse, in my opinion. Like, we have this very intense and romantic and touching moment, and then like all of a sudden it's like ooga booga ooga. Like, okay. What?
I love it. Anything else to add? Anybody?
No, I think I've got everything.
The only thing I think we haven't covered yet is just like our favorite filler episodes, which we've like touched on a little, but I'm curious what everybody's like favorite is.
So I already mentioned mine when we were talking about fillers, that Every Chicken Has Its Day, just because it's so crazy and out there, and I love the humor in it. And it gives us some insight on what happens to the chicken after, we have the whole situation with her egg and her switching the egg with the baby chick, and it's just good fun. It's the best of the Kodocha humor.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Exactly.
Who saw that coming? Jacob, what's your favorite filler episode?
I think I might cheat and say like the episode right after the New York arc, because it's just such a breath of fresh air. Just like, oh my gosh, it's Akito, it's Tsuyoshi, it's everyone. I haven't seen these guys in 20 episodes. Like, I don't even care. I don't even remember what they did. It was fun though. Like, I like, it was good just seeing them again.
It's fair. That definitely. I get a feeling I'm gonna feel very similarly when I get there in my watch.
Yeah, I'm getting to the end of the New York arc in my watch right now, so I imagine I'll probably feel the same way once I get to that episode. But as for now, I'm enjoying it so far, but I am anxious for it to end. It's kind of a weird mix of feelings. It's like, oh, this is just fun and I'm just enjoying it for what it is, but at the same time it's like I really miss the other characters.
I think in a vacuum it's like a decent arc. It's coupled together with like the rest of Kodocha, so it stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's definitely fair. And I do think I think we should probably do another one of these for series 2 where we can really unpack some of that, one of these episodes, I think.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be done with that video by then. I'll have a lot to say about it by then.
Let's go. Well, I want to wrap up the last of our things with my favorite filler episode, which I've said this before. There are two. One of them is episode 33, Love Tastes Like Curry. It's a great one. And then the other one is episode 30, Ray and the Jolly Green-Eyed Monster. It's the one where Sana and Akito spy on Asako to see if she's dating her co-star. And then at the end of the episode, her co-star is dating Miho Obana.
Very underrated episode.
Absolutely one of my favorite reveals in the series. That giant TV, and oh my god, it's so good.
That was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's everything that we have for our specific agenda, things we wanted to talk about today. Is there any final thoughts from anybody? Manga versus anime, season 1.
Well, let's end with the ultimate question. Do you prefer the anime or the manga?
I mean, the manga.
The manga, yeah.
The manga, 100%.
I feel like that was a very question, but
No, I think it's good to ask, but it's so interesting to me, because I often feel like that's an unpopular opinion, there are so many, well, especially in our server, for instance, there's a lot of anime onlys. And I guess not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're missing a lot of really good stuff by only watching the anime. So yeah, I often feel like it's a unpopular opinion. And just from an engagement standpoint for Daily Kodocha, screenshots from the anime always do better than scans from the mangas.
Bro, what the heck? The manga changed my life. What the heck?
I know.
Yeah.
This is how I feel. But it is interesting to me. So I don't know. I guess folks who are listening, drop in the comments, anime or manga. Prove me right or wrong.
And why.
And why. Yes, good. Also, and use complete sentences. Cite your sources.
And proper grammar. Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
MLA formatted or APA. It's up to you.
It'll be graded later.
Exactly. Oh, this was fun.
Yes.
I knew this was going to be a good one, but this was a good one.
Yeah, I agree.
And Jacob, we're totally bringing you back for a season 2 version of this episode. So
Awesome.
Clear your schedule. We're doing that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
Me too.
I had fun. Anything else we want to say before we sign off?
That's all I've got.
Yep, same here.
All right, then. Well, fairly well, folks. We'll see you another time.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to 19 O'Clock News, a Kodocha podcast.
19 O'Clock News is hosted by that Kodocha girl and Mahou Shoujo M.
We love making new friends. Feel free to join us in the Kodocha Discord under Kodocha_media.
19 O'Clock News is not affiliated with any current or previous rights holders to Kodomo no Omocha by Miho Obana.